Good afternoon, thank you for coming in. We've got today we have Mrtarmin. He's playing as the British, which gives you a 10% plus on armour, and we've got hinfeyg2 playing as the Ukrainians with 10% faster speed. Looks like they're both deploying mini gunners. I'm expecting them to start scouting pretty much any moment now. But yep, there we go. Mrtarmin is going to be scouting around the edge of the map. This is probably going to help him discover maybe a few more routes for the economy. But he's also got another group of riflemen scouting around the other side of the map. Not sure what hinfeyg2's doing here. He's got about 5 grenadiers and what looks like 10 mini gunners. Probably going to be his stable defense. He might not start exploring. He's going straight for the early rush method. Let's see how well that works out for him. I know I've had some issues with recording yesterday. I'm still working on the correct volume levels, so please bear with me on that one. Looks like we're going to start clashing now any second now. And as far as Mrtarmin knows, he hasn't headed to the northeast, so he doesn't have the advantage of knowing where hinfeyg2's base is. Meanwhile, hinfeyg2, although he sent that rush, he's lost all of his units, and already he's not doing too good. That being said, I think one of them should probably try and get the economic advantage. I'm only seeing them using one refinery. These guys might just be ELO players, but I think they should really be bolstering their economy. Their numbers are starting to drop low. They've both produced ore miners for themselves, but I would like to see another refinery, preferably around here, near to the ore fields, just so they get that little bit more of economy. And they both follow up at pretty much the exact same time. But I'm not seeing any sort of aggressive maneuvers, I'm not seeing any scouting. Looks like Team Armin's mainly got only doing a defensive perimeter. Looks like he's low power as well. Not sure how that's going to hold up. They're both low power. Not too much of an issue right now, but it's going to be wasted credits in case we need to repair them later. hinfeyg2's got a few dogs ready. Not sure how much good that's going to be unless he can stop Mrtarmin from spraying them up. Those dogs aren't going to last for long, mate. As far as I can tell, looks like hinfeyg2's going for a more economic approach. It's got 4 ore miners, about 20 odd soldiers. Meanwhile, Mrtarmin he's getting some more light tanks ready. He needs to start exploring that ore field and maybe even buying another refinery further down to the east there. He should really be scouting, but it looks like he's not going to do that. hinfeyg2 is going to start with a new infantry rush now. He's going to be attacking from the north field. Those dogs pretty much did what I expected them to do, which was die horribly. Pedder would be upset about that, but that's just how life is. Mrtarmin's just simply building more light tanks, and we're not seeing any heavy tanks or V2s yet from hinfeyg2. He's also run out of money. They've both run out of money. This is pretty much not what they need to be doing.
Unit ready.
That's another refinery prepared. He would do well to sell off this refinery and maybe build a new one around here, though it doesn't look like there's enough money left in there to justify it. So this way, it might as well be worth it just to sell this off, in my opinion. We're only seeing 2 refineries here from Mrtarmin. Not sure if that's not gonna work in his benefit. I'd rather he build another one just around here and maybe expand his frontier, because now we can see hinfeyg2 is starting to get just that little bit more advantage over money wise. Mrtarmin's only floating around 300 to 400, but he really could be doing a bit more. That infantry rush might have a good chance of squashing those light tanks if Mrtarmin doesn't micro them effectively. Looks like he's not microwave them. So, yeah, we might as well kiss goodbye to those. Valiant effort, and that's pretty much cut it, but I think it's too little too late. Now what he's gonna have to do is he's gonna have to maneuver all these soldiers here to this flank, because otherwise he's gonna be, yeah, that's pretty much the problem right there. Yep, he's noticed too late. He's only sending his light tanks across. Terrible idea. But I think this might be a GG, guys. hinfeyg2's already built about 7 or 8 heavy tanks to provide backup. He's got an economic advantage. His eco is on point. He's been constantly building, refineries, ore miners, and he's got the upper hand, which really helps when you have the faster build speed for hinfeyg. And the extra armor just doesn't do much for Mrtarmin. He's not producing that many units, he's not producing that many light tanks or infantry, and hinfeyg2's gonna start pushing now. I think this might just be a GG. Very same with Mrtarmin, he's finally reacted. Again, too little too late. I don't think he really had a chance with this one. He could try and salvage the situation with some rocket soldiers, but now that hinfeyg is just definitely swapping around, he's moving his units around. He's got more heavy tanks growing. This way, I would tap out. This would be a tap out situation for me personally. He's holding the fort. He's doing a good job of holding the fort, but unfortunately he didn't really build much of a defense. He really should have pushed an early advantage, but that looks like it just didn't happen. He's not bothering to repair the construction yard. I'm starting to wonder if he may just be a low yellow player. But hinfeyg, he's just keeping it up. He's constantly harassing the ore miners, and there's nothing Armin can do. He's only got a few light tanks, some riflemen. It's just not going to go. It's just not going to work out very well against this many heavy tanks. Mrtarmin's probably trying to look for the construction yard now. This is a very desperate last ditch effort, but the truth is, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. There's here the problem is that hinfeyg already has the ore producing facilities, and there we go. That was Armin's entire attack force, and that's it. Any second now, it's got to tap out. Yeah, there we go. That's a GG. hinfeyg just had the advantage straight up. There was no way that Armin was going to win with that one. At the start, if we go back a bit, we can see that Armin, he produced some minigunners, and this would have been an excellent time to use them to scout ahead, because there's usually no fog of war with when something like this, with a game like this. Usually when you scout something out, you know what's going on in that area pretty much until the end of the game. There is the exception of gap generators, but that's not really an MP friendly thing to do unless you have enough money, and even then, that money can probably go ahead towards building stuff like turrets, tanks, other refineries, that sort of thing. Meanwhile, hinfeyg, he built about a good sizable small attack squad, and although they didn't go too well, they didn't last too long. Once you see something like this, you know immediately my enemy's base is there. So as soon as that happened, it was just too late for Armin. He had these 5 riflemen that he could have used to scout up, but either he forgot about them, or he was just hoping to do a turtling approach. And usually the turtling doesn't work too well unless you know exactly how you're going to defend. And Armin, I didn't see anything other than minigunners. He did try and keep up with the economy, but I think he should have built another refinery. He should have built another refinery around here, limiting yourself to this area with your riflemen, instead of this choke point over here, cost him the match. He could have expanded eastwards, get a few power plants down there, build an oil refinery right here, but that just didn't happen. There were a lot of mistakes here, but unfortunately, as we realized, because you have lower building costs for your units because of your light tank, your medium tank. Those are usually less expensive than the heavy tanks, and they take less time, and they're usually faster as well. So they're perfect for hit and run situations. But Mrtarmin tried to defend. He tried to hold the line with light tanks, where you're supposed to utilize hit and run attempts. Try and utilize flank. He could have done some harassing movements here and here. This just didn't happen, and unfortunately, in a situation like this, no matter how many riflemen or light tanks you may have, you're just not going to hold the fort anywhere near as good as, say, 10 heavy tanks. As we can see here, hinfeyg, he already had a good portion of miners. He had 5 miners constantly keeping his resources constantly trickling in, and he had the upper advantage for sure. Armin just didn't do it. He had a camo pillbox, but when you're facing against the Soviets, that pillbox is only going to do as much as it lasts before they can start building heavy tanks. And usually the optimal strategy for playing as the Soviets is to build up your heavy tanks, build up your economy, and then strike hard and strike swift. And this is what he did. He managed to get his economy going. He managed to constantly get around 1,000 credits, and he managed to build his heavy tanks, and was constantly building them. There was a time when he was really seriously running low of money, which is an excellent scenario considering there's no chance to regrow your ore, so you gotta make use of what you had, and hinfeyg just had it. Once again, thank you very much for watching and listening. I'm still learning. Please give me feedback if you feel that something could be changed. I'm still learning the ropes. If you think things are too quiet or too loud, just go ahead. I'm more than happy to do what I can do to make this an enjoyable experience. If you have any other criticism, if you like my opinions of the tactics, feel free to go ahead. I'm kind of potato when it comes to Command & Conquer multiplayer, but I'm more than happy to learn with the rest of you guys. Alright, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and take care.